Right now, the most powerful wealth code running your life might be one you didn't consciously choose, but you can reset it, and I'll show you how. I was 7 years old, crouched behind our living room couch with my mother, trying not to breathe too loud. The bill collectors were pounding on our front door. Back then, it was legal for them to yell threats and embarrass you in front of your neighbors if you owed money. My mother's hand was shaking as she held her finger to her lips. The lights had been turned off again. Our car had been repossessed the week before. And I knew that when my father came home and found out about the collectors, there would be more threats. There always was when money was involved. What I didn't know was that my 7-year-old brain was creating neural pathways that would sabotage my financial success for the next 46 years. My heart learned that money equals danger. But here's what changed everything. At age 53, I went from scraping together enough to get by to building my first $500,000 year in business online. And eventually, I closed a $100,000 project in a single 15-minute conversation with no proposal, no contract, and paid in full upfront. What changed wasn't my circumstances. It was the rewiring, the internal code that had been quietly running my life, and finally releasing the fear that had taken root in me as a little girl. Back when I thought money meant something bad would happen. Today, I'm going to show you the neuroscience behind how early money experiences shape your financial reality and the exact method I use to rewire those patterns. It's the same process that took me from being that scared little girl to confidently commanding a six-figure fee. Here's what neuroscience reveals about early money stress. Every intense or frightening moment around money can literally rewire a developing brain. And for women like us, money often comes with tension, unpredictability, or the sense that something could go wrong at any moment. In my house, money wasn't just scarce, it stirred up conflict and fear. Every time my mother tried to earn her own income, it triggered my father's anger. Whether she worked at the local music store or made Christmas wreaths for a little extra cash, he found a reason to shut it down loudly and with force. As a little girl, I was always on alert, never quite sure what might happen next. My nervous system learned to associate money with stress and emotional risk. Somewhere deep inside, my heart began to believe that financial success might threaten the people I love. And my brain, trying to protect me, created patterns that pushed wealth away to keep me safe. But here's the breakthrough that changes everything. That scared little girl was learning a lie and calling it truth. If money ever felt like danger in your home, your brain may still be protecting you from success. Neuroscience shows that before age 7, the brain is wired to prioritize safety above all else. So if early money experiences felt stressful or unpredictable, your nervous system learned to stay alert and protect you. Now, as an adult, your conscious mind may want success, but your subconscious is still running the old code, believing money might cost you something important. The empowering truth, you can literally rewire those pathways at any age. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what happened then and what's happening now, which means you can teach it a completely new story about money and safety. This is where the real transformation begins. While your younger mind may have learned to fear money, your soul has always known something different, that you were made for abundance, because abundance is what allows you to fulfill your divine assignment. At 53, I went from grubbing for enough money to support my family to building my first $500,000 business year online. But the real breakthrough in understanding my worth came later, when I had already proven to myself that I could succeed. By then, I'd learned to trust my divine assignment, and I was still growing into the full capacity to command fees that reflected my true value. I was at a mastermind event, and something deeper than my programmed mind took over. And it wasn't just the confidence from that first successful year. It was decades of life experience that had been quietly embedding itself in my brain. And now, backed by proof. I could deliver the results. A successful entrepreneur mentioned struggling with his marketing message. He came over to me and said, "Aren't you the queen of copy?" I was like, "Well, that's what they call me." And without thinking, without the old programming interfering, I said, "I can solve that problem for you." I walked him through exactly what his audience needed to hear and how to say it. But here's what made the difference in those next 15 minutes. I wasn't desperately trying to prove myself anymore. I had already built that $500,000 business. When I spoke to his challenge, I truly wanted to help him. I was drawing from decades of understanding human psychology and years of proven results. And most importantly, I knew my value. After I finished, he looked at me and simply said, "How much would it be for you to do that for me?" Without hesitation, without the old programming kicking in to lower my fee or apologize or justify my worth, I said, $100,000. And you know what he said? Okay. He wired $50,000 that day and the remaining $50,000 before I even began the work. Because here's another truth I've made my reality. I always get paid in advance. When you know your worth and have proven your value, clients are happy to invest upfront. That's why I say this wealth code is so powerful. It's scary, but only if you haven't shifted the belief that's been running the show. Here's what happened in my brain during that moment. My divine assignment was speaking, backed by both life experience and proven results. While my old lower your price, be grateful for scraps programming stayed completely silent. I wasn't that little girl hiding from the bill collectors, and I wasn't even the woman desperately hoping for her first success. I was someone who had earned the right to name her price. The progression was clear. First, I had to prove myself to myself that I could succeed at all. And then I had to learn that my success wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just a flash in the pan. And finally, I could step into commanding the fees my expertise actually deserved and expect to be paid in advance like the professional I had become. Let me teach you the exact H3 hierarchy system. It's my proprietary system to help me go from hiding behind couches to closing six-figure deals. The three H's are heart, head, and higher self. And you must heal them in this specific order. At the heart level, this is where your emotional money code was first written. And for many women like us, that code was shaped by stress, unpredictability, or fear. Before anything can shift, you have to gently acknowledge what money meant in your family. Was it a source of tension? Was it scarce, unpredictable, or tied to conflict? Did it feel like something that disturbed peace or safety, or something that was for someone else, not you? For me, this meant grieving the little girl who had learned that money wasn't safe. I had to acknowledge her fear, hold space for it, and then gently teach my heart a new truth. Money in the hands of a healed woman is a force of love, fear. Next is the head level. This is where you apply neuroscience to literally rewire your brain. Every morning, I want you to spend around 5 minutes. You can just do it while you're doing other things, even visualizing yourself already wealthy and safe. See yourself abundant and protected. Your brain will start firing new neural pathways with your new code. This isn't positive thinking. This is neuroplasticity in action. And then finally, your higher self level. This is where you connect with your divine assignment, a deeper knowing that guided me to close that $100,000 deal. Ask yourself, what is mine to do in this world? What would I create if I knew money was safe? The magic happens when all three levels align. Your heart feels safe with wealth, your head rewires for abundance, and your higher self guides the specific actions to take. Now, let me give you the exact evening practice that rewires your subconscious while you sleep. I call it the celestial Sherpa technique. And I'm giving you the evening version because your other practices are morning focused, and also because this is when really deep change happens. Right before bed, when your conscious mind starts to quiet down, place your hand on your heart and ask, what truth does my soul want to plant in my subconscious tonight? Then listen. not with your mind, and certainly not with your confused child's mind, but with your healed woman's wisdom. Your old programming will likely offer the old bedtime script. Money is dangerous. Stay small. Don't risk it. But your divine assignment has a different message. I am safe to prosper. Money in my hands serves love. Here's why this evening timing works. Your subconscious processes everything while you sleep. If you go to bed with fear-based money programming, you wake up with it reinforced. But if you consciously plant new seeds of truth before sleep, you literally rewire your brain overnight. Write down one empowering money truth, even if your logical mind resists it. And then as you drift off, repeat it silently. Your subconscious will work on this new programming the entire time you're asleep. This isn't just about mantras or wishful thinking. You're bypassing the gatekeeper of your conscious mind and letting a new truth drop directly into your brain's operating system. This works because you're literally training your brain to listen to wisdom instead of old fear. Listen to possibility instead of protection mode. When you wake up, you'll notice you're thinking differently about money, not because you forced it, but because your brain quietly rewired while you rested. If you're a woman over 50 who's carried the weight of early money stress, but you know in your heart there's more for you, then this is for you. I've created a 2-page guide called The Hidden Wealth Code. It's the same framework I've used to go from scraping by to support my family to building a $500,000 business my very first year online and eventually commanding 6-figure fees. Because I finally aligned my pricing with my value, not my fear. This guide reveals the 3 hidden patterns that are quietly shaping your money decisions and gives you a simple process to shift them gently and powerfully. Just click the link below to download it instantly. There's no opt-in required. Your next breakthrough could begin tonight. Remember, it's never too late to teach your heart that money in your hands is safe. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.